Well, well, well. Look what the cat dragged in.
Quick question, what does X-Men Origins Wolverine and Green Lantern have in common? And another quick question, what does Green Lantern do spectacularly in a way Captain America Brave New World fails to do? Well, the first question has some obvious answers. The presence of Ryan Reynolds, subpar writing, a movie tie-in game that's actually better than the movie it's based on. But the key similarity between both 2009's Origins and 2011's Lantern is that they both feature each respective hero's personal nemesis, fully realised in the best way possible. You might recall last year I did a video on the criminally underrated Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth, a goated Sabretooth in an otherwise sucky X-Men movie, and it's the same here. Sinestro, Hal Jordan's arch-nemesis, is so freaking awesome in 2011's Green Lantern, it's crazy the movie around him can't compete.
I know, right?
Captain America Brave New World got loads of flack for its depiction of the leader, and rightfully so. The Hulk villain's distinctive goatee and enlarged cranium was nowhere to be found, instead replaced with a body horror take that sounded good on paper, but unfortunately didn't land. Well, Sinestro is also part of the goatee 5-head supervillain club, and guess what? He was rendered perfectly. It is insane to me that in a superhero outing so wonky, so silly in plenty of unintentional places, its hardest character to adapt is nailed so damn well. If you want more DC, Marvel, Star Wars or Doctor Who, then subscribe for more. You can catch the latest reviews for every weekly drop of Daredevil Born Again over on the Full Fat Podcast. Link is in the pinned comment below.
We built this city, boom boom. We built this city on rock and roll.
Sinestro is brought to life by the powerhouse that is Mark Strong, and yeah, just look at this guy, he was born to play Sinestro. The makeup effects are just right, enough to be insanely comic book accurate without being silly. But I think what really ties it all together is just how seriously Strong takes the whole thing.
We will seek out and find this enemy. And we will destroy it.
You totally buy him as this military leader, as a figurehead in the Corps, and he's intimidating, commanding. Every scene he's in is bettered by his presence, and every scene without him suffers.
Abin Sur is dead. 4 of my Lantern brothers killed.
In his first proper scene, he's acting off of a bunch of blue CGI Oompa Loompas, and he's still making it work.
We are assessing the situation.
While you assess, innocent lives will be lost.
He provides some of the only meaty conflict in the movie.
Sorry, fishbone in my throat.
He provides some of the only meaty conflict in the movie. He sees Hal's unworthy of his mentor's ring, and is sure to let him know about it.
Abin Sur was a great warrior. My mentor. My friend. You insult his memory by wearing his ring.
He feels like the kind of guy that would be a powerful ally, but also an unwavering enemy. Perfect for Sinestro.
The Corps is only as strong as its weakest link, and I will tolerate no weak links.
He's a dark ally in the movie, but just imagine where this performance could have gone with another movie and a more competent hero to play off of. It's also no coincidence he gets the best action scene in the movie too, a one-on-one with Hal, where Sinestro effortlessly outclasses him. The constructs against constructs are really fun. A minigun versus a not Captain America shield? Yes please. Sinestro is playing with his food here, and this entire scene establishes him as a top dog in the Lantern Corps. It's basically the only time we've ever come close to seeing Hal versus Sinestro properly on screen, which is a crying shame, especially with this casting. Much like Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth, I don't really enjoy the movie around him, but his scenes are all enjoyable and the performance rises above the rest.
Seek out and find this enemy. And we will destroy it.
His Green Lantern outfit also managed to be Easily the best costume in the entire film, in spite of the fact it shares DNA with the Reynolds edition. The Hal Jordan suit was mocked widely at the time, and with good reason. Why can I see his toes? Even if the whole thing wasn't a CGI overlay, it makes Hal look naked. I get what they were going for with the musculature all over the suit, and it's a noble effort, but it ends up missing the mark hugely. The alien lanterns all fare much better, and I think that's because their suits have much better textures, resembling the respective creatures, and they look like actual costumes instead of a layer of skin. Sinestro's costume looks downright awesome. I love that he doesn't have those awful green toes, and the patterning on his torso and arms work really nicely. It's the perfect ratio of black to green, or is that green and dark green? You get the picture. All in all, the look of Sinestro exceeded expectations. But of course we couldn't talk about his Green Lantern suit without talking about his other fetching little number. The problem with Sinestro in the film is all plot. The character is fierce and beautifully brought to life by Mark Strong, but his arc makes absolutely no sense. Learning of Parallax's origin and seeing some of his strongest Lantern comrades killed in action, he resorts to a new strategy.
Then we have no choice. We must prepare to harness the power of our enemy and fight fear with fear. We must forge a yellow ring.
I guess a fear ring will cancel out a fear monster? I don't know, it doesn't really track. But anyway, Sinestro's on the way to becoming the first Yellow Lantern. Except at the end of the movie, Hal persuades him that fear is nothing against will and that they should remain Green Lanterns.
As lanterns, we must fight with all our will.
So it seems like his arc is a rejection of the fear ring and its capabilities, and yet during the credits, we get a scene where Sinestro puts his jewelry on anyway. Why does he do this? It's counterintuitive to what was established. Maybe he was lying at the end, but that seems weak and ill thought out. Besides, I think this Sinestro is a man of his word. He's many things, but a liar is not one of them. The movie just couldn't resist sequel baiting, and it felt it needed to show the fans Sinestro in his iconic fear-empowered look. Unfortunately, that was all we got because of course, Green Lantern 2011 never got a sequel. They rushed to get to the finish line, and instead, that finish line got cancelled. All we got in the end was a tease that made no sense and was never followed up upon. Green Lantern went on to skip the next DC film universe entirely, save for one cameo and an unrealised Jon Stewart in the Snyder Cut. It seems ridiculous now that DC and Warner Brothers saw Green Lantern as their Iron Man, the opener to a new cinematic universe, but I could have totally seen that working. He's the right character to kick things off, he has a similar stark snark, people love space operas, and he's got some really versatile powers. But where Mark Strong was perfectly cast, Ryan Reynolds was woefully miscast. Director Martin Campbell actually wanted Bradley Cooper, but the studio went behind his back to cast Reynolds against his wishes, and this reportedly caused a lot of friction between the two on set. Campbell was allegedly not happy with the Reynolds edition take on the character, and would push for multiple takes. Bradley Cooper, now that would have been a Green Lantern. Imagine Bradley Cooper's wit and charm playing off of this Sinestro. If they had cast it right, ironed out the kinks in the script, namely taking almost an hour before we see Hal in costume, and beefing up two lackluster villains, then we could have had a stew going.
Baby, you got a stew going.
A successful Green Lantern movie would have been a game changer. You could have introduced the Flash in the second movie, making it a buddy adventure, exploring their rich friendship from the comics. The third movie could have finally splintered Hal and Sinestro's relationship, giving us a hero-villain friends-to-enemies relationship to rival Charles and Eric. And since he's both an Earthbound and spacefaring hero, he could have been the glue to form the Justice League, including everyone from Superman to Martian Manhunter. He could have been this DC Universe's Nick Fury. Who knows what the plan would have been, as Man of Steel was already on the docket, and I can't quite see how they would have fit together tonally, but even so, it would have been interesting to have seen a DC cinematic universe born out of a good Green Lantern adaptation. What might have been? This Sinestro was so damn good, I only wish we had gotten the writing and the sequels to back him up and complete his story. Mark Strong went on to play in the DC Universe a bunch more, but unfortunately never as Sinestro. He closed out the decade as Dr. Sivana in Shazam, a fitting villainous foil. I still think the best moment of the entire movie is that bit where Sivana opens the door to discover Shazam.
Awesome!
The way Mark Strong plays that is hilarious. He then replaced John Turturro in The Penguin Show, filling in some important backstory and doing a fine job as a younger Falcone. So now Mark Strong has been in 3 DC film universes. Could he make it to a 4th? Could he play in the DCU sandbox? It's certainly possible. Strong seems to relish a comic book movie role, taking up excellent stints in Millarworld material alongside DC. I think he'd make a great Martian Manhunter, for example. However, the Sinestro casting is so perfect. I feel like you could make him that character in the new DC film universe and nobody would bat an eye. You could keep the design fairly similar, perhaps just changing the costume, and never allude to his 2011 variant, and nobody would have a problem with it. The casting and performance were that good. If you stuck him in Lanterns against Mr. Rebel Ridge and Mr. Grey's Anatomy, then I'd be just fine with it. Still, Ulrich Thompson has reportedly been cast as a whole new Sinestro, and it has every right to be a great adaptation. But Thompson certainly has big shoes to fill, for the Sinestro of yesteryear is going to be tough to beat. What do you think? Do you think this is on par with Lev Schreiber's Sabretooth, an excellent villain in an otherwise terrible superhero movie? Do you wish we'd have seen more of Mark Strong's Sinestro? Do you like the makeup? Do you like the costume? Do you wish you'd have seen him grow to be the Yellow Lantern we all wish he'd been? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe. A huge thank you to Dr. Chike and Peter Vaughan for being my full fat patrons. Your contribution to keeping the channel running is immeasurable. If you'd like to join the Patreon for exclusive goodies, early releases of main videos, the podcast, video scripts, and a thank you in the credits, then please head on over to patreon.com/fullfatvideos to choose one of the paid tiers.